up in front of a gymnasium in a high school like this and says there is a risk. And that's in the first half of the movie. The second half of the movie is pure Hollywood fiction that sort of puts this movie, I don't know whether it's left of, what is left, Gasland or Frat Nation, or right at the other one. I don't know where it is, but it just was a fantasy from then on.
I have not seen Frat Nation. I have not seen Promised Land, so I can't comment on those. I will comment on the value of Gasland. First of all, Gasland is a documentary. I don't think Promised Land is a documentary. It's a movie. It's a fictional movie, so you can't compare it. And I haven't seen Frat Nation. Is it a documentary?
It's like, I'm told.
Here's your mic. Here's your mic.
Yeah. You've seen Frat Nation. You want to tell us what you thought? My impression is from Vegas's article that it is a Gasland style.
It purports to be a documentary, but it's highly one-sided.
The response was it purports to be a documentary, but it's highly one-sided.
Okay, so then let me just make my comments about Gasland, because I've seen it many times. So Gasland is a documentary done by an artist. It wasn't done by a scientist. It wasn't done by a collection of scientists or engineers. As far as I know, a collection of scientists and engineers weren't consulted in its creation. It was an attempt, in my opinion, take it for what it's worth, it was an attempt to call the attention of the American people to something the artist thought needed attention. It certainly was attention-getting. So mission accomplished. That being said, I have told the producer, Josh Fox, many times, and anybody who asks me, that it's not exactly technically accurate in all aspects. I wish that Josh Fox had used a technical consultant. It would have saved him a lot of grief, and it probably would have put the documentary on a more firm overall science, engineering, and technology basis. Having said that, I expect that there's going to be a Gasland 2 sometime soon, so I can't wait to see it.
Okay, I think we're going to have just a couple more questions and go to closing presentations, which will be 5 minutes, and I believe you will be going first, Dr. Drucker. This question is for Dr. Engelder. How will the drillers affect our small town life? Housing, law enforcement, etc. We are not made for large populations.
One of the things that's happened over the last 2 or 3 years in Pennsylvania is that the drillers have discovered there's not enough housing to support the personnel that run these rigs. And so what they've done on their pads is provide housing, and this includes cafeteria, bed, dormitory, just everything right on the pad to take care of the people that work these rigs. The people that work these rigs are 10 on, 4 off, or 14 on, 14 off, or something like that. When you're on 14 days, you're there. You're on 12 hours a day, you sleep 12 hours a day, on, sleep. This is very difficult work. When you're done, you go home, wherever home is. And this is the way that industry is moving. Now, it is true that there are statistics in some towns in Pennsylvania, particularly early on, where these workers were turned loose on towns, that these transients did have some impact.
Okay, this will be the last question. In the Frank Almanac, an aged gentleman said that he had lost his peace and quiet, sat on his porch one day and counted 200 big trucks which passed his house. Is fracking a 24-hour-a-day business, or will trucks just come during the day?
In general, during the fracking operation, it's 24/7, 365. Subject to operator protocol, subject to weather, subject to personnel availability, and the inevitable problems that happen during a frac job that might slow it down or stop it. But in general, once they get started, they're going to finish it. That's the economical way of doing it. So most of the truck traffic is going to occur first when they're setting up the pad, second when they're bringing in all the heavy equipment for the drilling, third when they're bringing in all the water and chemicals for the fracking job, and fourth when they're transporting if they're transporting, the flow back away. So the answer in general is yes.
Yeah, that's correct. This is 24/7. These rigs are so expensive that you just got to run them all the time. The good news is they eventually go away and it becomes silent again. In that period of time, maybe 1 month, 2 months, or something like that, providing that they drill all the wells and frack all the wells on one pad.
And yeah, that's true, but remember, we're moving, because I said the technology is improving, Professor Engelder said that too, we're moving towards more wells per pad, larger laterals per pad. And the current proposed regulation in New York gives a company up to 3 years to complete the development from one pad. So you can do the math. They're going to put 12 or 16 wells on a pad, and they got 3 years to do it, and it takes on the order of a month to do one well. You're talking about 3 years, 24/7.
Actually, no, that's not right. They're drilling wells much faster than that.
Drilling and fracking.
Yeah, one well gets fracked in 2 or 3 or 4 days.
Drilling and fracking a well and getting flow back before production on the order of a month. On the order of.
But these are cumulative. I mean, they superimpose one on top of the other, so it's not parallel, it's serial. This is happening.
Depends upon whether they have gathering lines in place and what the local economics are, whether they have storage for the gas. It all gets complicated.
Yeah, that's right.
Wouldn't you know the last question would draw the most debate?
Now, I think we've had a nice debate all along. I mean, I don't think that last question was just the only time that Tony and I talked about it.
No, you certainly have, and your timing has been exquisite. This is the first time I've ever moderated an event where both of you have abided very closely by the time limitation set, and I think you should be applauded for that. I'd also like to note that you folks that have come tonight, it's an unbelievable event to have drawn as many out on this very cold evening. In fact, I was very apprehensive that the cold weather was going to reduce our numbers. And I think before people started leaving this evening, we had well over 200, maybe even 300 people here this evening. Our applause to you as well for coming out. The closing presentation